In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to glue your frame kit together. Remember, your frame kit is separated into 3 sections. I'm starting with the rear section, so I have my rear center spine piece and the corresponding ribs ready to be glued up. With the rocker tabs facing up, start applying hot glue where the pieces connect and push them snugly together. You can add and remove hot glue later as needed, so you don't have to worry about it being perfectly straight at this stage. Also, keep in mind that when the rocker tabs are glued to your work surface, the board is actually upside down, meaning you're looking at the bottom of your board. It's the flat part of the board that touches the water, and you stand on the slightly curved top deck. We found it's just easier to add bottom strips first, so that's why we designed the kits this way. Next, flip the glued up section over and start aligning the rocker tabs to your reference grid that you drew on your work surface. Use a dot of hot glue under the rocker tab that you are setting in place, and then use a square to check for 90 degrees between the ribs and the center spine, as well as between each rib and your tabletop. It's also really important that you make sure that your center spine is perfectly straight the entire way down the board. I like to add a little more hot glue around each rocker tab so it's really secure to the table. You might be wondering, why are we using hot glue and not some traditional wood glue or polyurethane glue that we're going to be using for the deck skins? And there's a few reasons. One, hot glue has a very fast drying time compared to other glues. It doesn't require clamps. It fills any gaps between the interlocking pieces. And when it's cooling and slightly flexible still, you can make these micro adjustments to the position. And also, if you do mess up and need to reset a piece after the hot glue is completely hardened, you can actually reheat the glue with a heat gun or a hair dryer and reposition your piece without damaging any of the plywood. Okay, next you're going to repeat this process for the middle and front sections of the frame, and then to connect these sections, you line up the seams and then glue some small scrap pieces of wood on both sides of the spine. I use some of my polyurethane glue here, but you can also just use more hot glue. As you keep moving down the frame, check for square angles and straight lines, and then go back and fill any gaps between the pieces with more hot glue. Now that you have a center spine and ribs aligned and glued together, the side rails go on next. The basic rules apply here as well, and it's really cool to start to see your board to take shape at this point. Depending on your board model, you might have to shave down the front and back 3 rib tabs slightly with a chisel or some sandpaper, since they connect to the rails at a sharper radius near the nose and the tail. Next, use a little hot glue on the ends of your rib pieces and push the side rail all the way against the rib piece. Again, after it's in position and secure, add a little more hot glue inside the joints for extra strength. You can also use some painter's tape at each connection point to add a little extra inward pressure while the glue cures. And just like the center spine sections, keep moving towards the front of the board, connecting the sections with a piece of scrap wood on the inside of the side rail seams. Just repeat this process on the other side rail, do a final check that everything is secure and straight, and you're done with this step of the build. I really enjoy this step of the process because you can go from a flat packed frame kit to a fully secured 3D structure of your paddleboard in less than an hour. Now that you have something tangible built, you can really start to visualize the final design of the board. And in the next video, I'll be showing you how to mill down your wood strips that will soon get glued to this bottom side of your board.